There's Brent.
Brent,
Yeah.
a minute here. Set. He's got his fancy.
Yeah.
I love the zoo bags, that's great.
He used to have pants like that.
No, my pants are different. I used to have some best pants.
Alright, I guess we're ready.
I wore them to Super Bowl 27.
Okay, we'll call this public meeting, public notice to order, public hearing, I should say. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Sheldon?
Here.
Brackman?
Here.
Paternitti?
Here.
Reynolds? Faulkner?
Here.
Bonfiglio?
Here.
Diversa?
Here.
Russell?
Here.
And Dulce.
Here, thank you. Would the clerk please read the public notice?
Notice is hereby given that the mayor of the city of Jamestown, New York will hold a public hearing at 6:00 p.m. Monday, November 4th, 2024 in the police training room, 4th floor municipal building, 200 East 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York, to consider a proposed local law 2 of 2024, a local law authorizing a public property tax levy in excess of the limit established in general municipal law 3C. At such time and place, all persons interested in the subject matter will be heard concerning the same. The local laws can be viewed in its final form at the at the office of the city clerk, 200 East 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York, and on the city's website at www.jamestowny.gov. Date of publication, October 30th, 2024.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask if there's anybody from the public who would like to address the public hearing in regards to the local law. Is there anyone here that would like to speak? Please leave your name and address and limit your remarks to 5 minutes.
The public, Doug Champ, 225 Brown Street, Jamestown. The public hearing, on any public hearing, has to be documented and all input recorded, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I want to know if city council in any shape or form has been given the property tax cap guidelines for implementation.
What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about this, in the state of New York. In order for you to do what you're doing, I would assume that you would have looked at the implementation process for being able to do that.
We haven't been given that, but we've gone through this process before.
The process before, how long ago was that?
Probably 5-6 years ago.
And that included your escalation on voting on whether or not you're gonna exceed the 2%?
That's correct.
Was that accomplished?
What was what accomplished?
The tax levy, tax cap increase, was that part of the ultimate budget?
I believe so. One of them was. One of them wasn't.
All right, this document is very important in the sense that city council understand what they're in fact doing. And the property tax cap guidelines for implementation are filled with what needs to be followed. And I trust that the controller and the people have done that. Such things as looking at the issues involved with setting it up, the importance of it, the quality of change index that deals with it, the inflationary factor, the calculation of the tax levy limit, the filing limit for calculations, the limit of inclusions, which includes torts and a variety of other things that you all know what that's all about. Okay? It's important that you do, because that means that if you agree with what's in the budget regarding the tax cap document, you're looking at the 2024 tax levy versus the 2000 projected 2025 tax levy, which is there a difference in there of $1,222,000 and some odd dollars. What does that mean? Is that you're basing it on what the inclusionary factors are within this implementation document. And that's important because that limit of $500,000, which is basically in the budget, is the difference between what is predicted and what's assumed. So my point is this, that unless you understand the implementation process, the tax cap, you probably are not in a good position to actually accomplish it. Because the information that's out there now really requires you to understand that particular aspect of what the implementation is. And I can't go along as a citizen when it's based on not just a 2%, but the actual consumer's price index. Those are two parallel issues regarding why you should keep it at 2%. The estimated inflationary rate for next year is around 2%. But should you go to the acknowledged amount of 7.6%, which is the difference between what was the 2024 levy versus what is the levy now, that's where the 7.6% comes about. You don't have to believe me, you can check all these issues out. But this is a public hearing, and it's gotta be discussed. It can't be just acknowledged when citizens show up and ask a question and you're kind of numb to it. I mean, you need to have some response back, because that's, a public hearing is a two-way street. It's not me talking to you, it's you talking back to me, and vice versa. So again, have any of the city council reviewed this document on how to implement the property tax cap? Anybody?
I haven't either.
So how can you do what you're doing?
Well, one of the things we need to do is pass the local law
Well,
to
you're
say that you can do that.
You're doing that, you've already done that, but the implementation for why you should do that is based on an implementation process associated with why you can do it.
The 2%'s an arbitrary number that.
It's not arbitrary, the state of New York
It's
placed
been
it.
modified year after year, going back into the
Well,
early.
you started, this whole thing
90s.
started in 2011, and in 2012, it became officially done, okay?
But it wasn't always 2%.
Well, it's been 2% since 2011,
I
that
know
document.
before that I'm talking about.
It didn't have it before that. My point is that it always has been, unless city council understands what they're doing, fully understands what they're doing, these issues are really difficult for citizens to understand why. So, when you look at that document in the budget, which is a short page, and there's all these torts and exclusions and et cetera, this is all predicated on the advisement of the city's controller, doing a great job, I have no question with any of that. But I do want to know, when you make decisions, where do you base these decisions on? If you don't read the documents that pertain to the implementation of this, then you're really not doing your homework necessary to understand this. And city council needs to know this. They need to know. The document could have been given to you beforehand, so you would understand the full implementation process of the tax levy.
For clarity, the controller mails these documents out to every council member and elected official all the time.
Did they get
they're
this?
probably-
Did they get this
I would assume
implementation?
so, we did.
What's that?
I would assume so, we all do.
Did any of you get this?
They they should be getting weekly or monthly, whatever the controller emails out. So, New York State Controller's Office emails that out, Mr. Champ.
So, the locally, you don't get it from your controller. You don't get this from your controller.
Weekly comes out from the
The
state.
property tax cap
That is
implementation.
issued by the state controller.
But it comes to us, right?
Correct.
And apparently the city council hasn't looked at it.
I could step in here for 1 second.
I would prefer that you do.
Yes, I
Thank you.
advise the city council, and I think I look at it a different way, Mr. Champ. You know, specifically, we have the tax cap limit from 2012, 2% each year. That can be overridden by the local law, which is what we're having a public hearing tonight about. Specifically, there's another law in place that governs the tax limit in New York State. That's Article 8, Section 10 of the New York State Constitution, whereby the city of Jamestown can only tax 2% per year of the 5-year final average valuation, which is set by the New York State Comptroller's Office. So specifically, we have here is we proposed tax levy with the 7.8%, which is still below what our maximum amount could be. Obviously, we have needs in the budget, which is why the mayor's proposed, the amount that we have here today.
And that's $550-some thousand, is that correct?
As far as the increase?
Yeah.
Yes.
So where does the other balance come from between the difference of the past 24 tax levy and the 2025 tax levy, which is a lot more than $500,000?
I mean, there was an obvious imbalance, right? To
Well,
cover expenses, there's an imbalance.
But the imbalance is also determined to some extent of what the tax cap's going to be.
Yeah. So, you know, the prior years did not get that tax levy. But we're just using it from a simple basis of what your assessor number has is the valuation of the city.
It doesn't add up, that does not add up. It doesn't add up unless you're gonna supplement that with additional revenue.
No, I'm fine.
Well,
It's not a back and
that's
forth.
the problem with the additional revenue, right?
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the public hearing?
I just have, I got a question with, Elliot. You're saying that since we didn't use the 2% the last 5 years, right?
No,
We didn't get that, so now in the 5th year it can be 10%?
no, not at all, I'm sorry, that's
Per year.
2%.
That's what it sounded No,
Nice.
I mean, it wouldn't be, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, you could have raised it to the tax. So there's two things at work, and I'm sorry for my nomenclature, I'm gonna mess it up. There's a property tax cap, and then there's a constitutional tax limit.
Okay.
So we didn't go, you know, this is the first time in the last couple of years, I believe the last time was 2016, where we got close to the constitutional tax limit.
8 years ago.
Yes.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that I was hearing you right. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the public hearing tonight? Is there anyone from the staff or the council who would like to address it? If not, I'll ask a third and final time. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the public hearing? Seeing none.